Welcome back to another episode of Hardcore Minecraft. Last episode we solved an XP problem by building this triple spider farm, and this episode we've got a few more problems we need to solve. One of them being we're in a little bit of a crisis. A fuel crisis, that is. So we're going to be solving that at some point today. But also, it's getting to a stage where I'm getting a little bit tired of running around everywhere, and we may need to get ourselves some wings fairly soon. But before we run off to the end and kill the dragon, I do want to make sure I'm prepared, and for that means we're going to need a whole bunch of rockets to take with us. The gunpowder is certainly not a problem for making those rockets. In fact, we're working on our fourth double chest of it now. However, we do not even have a sugarcane farm yet. It's like day 800 and we haven't built a sugarcane farm. Not even a basic one. So that's another thing we're going to solve today. But before we get to any of those things, you may notice I've got a whole bunch of levels right now because I have been standing there killing spiders for about an hour or so. The problem is if I want to enchant things, I have to run all the way back to the zombie farm and use the enchantment table down there. And as tempting as it is to move that enchanting setup, I don't really want to do that. I think I just want to make a brand new one over at the spider spawner. But the problem with that is I don't have any more bookshelves. Like, absolutely none. So I'm going to go find myself a few cows. Don't judge me. 56 leather should be enough. Let's go make some bookshelves. I didn't think this through. We're going to need a lot more paper than that. So for now, let's just quickly plant what sugarcane we do have and think about actually making a farm for this somewhere. And we'll come back to that enchanting setup soon. So as I said, today's plan is to make ourselves a sugarcane farm and to solve our fuel crisis, most likely with a kelp farm. And with the kelp farm, we do have a hole underground down here. I think that's most likely where we're going to put it. But a sugarcane farm, I do wonder, maybe over here. You may notice I've also grassed over this area. This was all covered with gravel and loads of other rubbish, but I've made the island look a little bit nicer now, which is good. And that also gives us a nice area to build up a sugarcane farm, and I think I do want to put it up here, and we're of course going to need to disguise it as well. First things first, we're going to need a whole bunch of redstone components for this farm, but I think we might be a little bit low on redstone itself. Yeah, we're not doing great, although we do already have a whole bunch of pistons. That's going to be very useful. So I'm going to get the bits together for this farm, and I'll see you in just a moment. I've gathered everything I need, and I think we're good to actually make a start on this, and it should be quite simple. So the first thing we want to do is put down 8 things here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how long the actual farm is going to be, and I didn't actually bring any grass with me. I'm going to need some grass. Failed at the first hurdle there. In fact, I didn't even need to go get grass, because I need to dig up these bits anyway. Jeez. In fact, I'm actually going to put this in a pit because I want to make sure that I'm not going to ruin the area if I work around it. I don't want to actually ruin the farm, so let's just make sure that that's not going to happen. And then we're going to put the grass on top of these, and that's where we're actually going to be planting the sugarcane. And then along this bit, we want to make sure we've got some lights in, although I don't have a massive amount of these, so we're not going to put them on every slot. We'll just put in a few. That should be fine, and then we'll just fill in the other gaps here. Get some pistons on top. That's what will break the sugarcane, and we'll put an observer facing that way, and that's just going to read changes in this one here, and when that one grows, it's going to fire the pistons on all of them, and then we'll just put some blocks on the back of these, block the observers in on either side as well, and then we'll just chuck a whole bunch of redstone down along the back here. And now I'm just going to reflect this on the other side as well, and then we'll put some iron railings across the top here as well, just so that any sugarcane that breaks doesn't get thrown onto the other side here. We want it all to go into the middle, so let's quickly grab a bit of that sugarcane we planted earlier. Hopefully that's grown up enough for us to actually grab, what do we need, 16 bits for now? Yep, we've got enough. Perfect. Turns out the water underneath isn't actually going to work for us, so let's just quickly grab that back out, fill in the holes, and we'll just move the water up so it's directly behind the grass blocks instead, and that should allow us to actually plant the sugarcane now. Yep, there we go. Perfect. And we'll just switch out this side as well. Plant some more sugarcane. Excellent. So that is the basics of the farm. That'll do everything we need to do. However, I do actually want a little bit more. In fact, that's not going to do everything we need it to do. I need more water. And we'll place that there. There we go. And now as this sugarcane here grows, I've actually just added a few on here for demonstration purposes. When we change here, that will fire them all and they will drop directly into the water stream here. So that should do the trick just nicely for us. We are, of course, going to need to put some kind of a collection system in the front here as well, but I don't know how we're going to do that just yet. So, well, let's stack up some more of these, shall we? I think I want a couple here. Maybe 4, 3, 4. I don't even know. Let's just stick another one on top for now and see how we get on. I don't need it to be a massive farm. I just need it to be a working farm. And I need to go to bed before I blow up my entire base. There we go. We now have 2 farms in place. And the question is, do I want to add any more? I reckon for now that's probably going to be okay for us. It's not like we need loads and loads of sugarcane just yet. We can always build a bigger farm down the road after all. I'm going to go get rid of this rain. This rain's annoying, and it's bedtime. Much better with the sun shining. I think I'm going to keep the collection system quite simple for now. We've just got some hoppers underneath the water back there, and that should all just get fed into these 3 chests here. And with that, the farm itself is actually complete. Now I just need to hide it somehow. And a church could potentially work. I don't know. I'm going to play around with a few ideas, and we'll see what we end up with. So I guess you're probably going to get some form of time-lapse right about now. I'm happy with the overall shape here, but we've got a lot of work still to do. We've got to do the texturing, the windows, the tower. Oh my days. Let's crack on, shall we? It took a bit longer than expected, but I'm very pleased with the results. I've even added in a path so we can actually approach the church, and I did get a bit worried in the middle. I thought we were maybe losing it and it wasn't really going to work, but I'm very pleased with the final results of this. I think it does fit into the area well, it looks good, and most importantly, it hides our wonderful sugarcane farm, which has been producing while we've been in here. It's really not that quick, is it? Oh, there's a little bit in there as well. And a tiny bit in there. But, you know, it's fine for our purposes. We shall certainly be able to, at least, make our bookshelves. And, of course, as that collects up and gathers, we'll be able to get the fireworks as well. And we're not going to need the sugarcane farm down here anymore. So let's quickly go rip that up. I think from over here, that's looking good as well. And actually, if we quickly hop into free cam, how's that looking on the island as a whole? Because we have gone for a different roof there, but I think that actually fits quite well. In fact, it might even be worth adding in a couple of other roof variants as well. We can't have everything being mangrove now. So we've managed to make 19 bookshelves. We've got our enchanting table, and we've also got our, where is it? This one here. We have our Spidey Boy, which is our Bane of Arthropods sword. We could, of course, do with some mending on that, but for that, we're going to need some more emeralds from the villagers and blah, blah, blah. Lots to do. But for now, at least it's going to work. And I think what I'm going to do is actually just utilize this corner we've got over here. We'll get some bookshelves in. We'll get a few barrels in as well. And, what do I do about this shelf? Do I push that back maybe? Yeah, in fact, let's do that. Let's push this back a little bit further. So we need to rip out all of this, get some bookshelves down. In fact, we should probably hide a couple under this wall as well, just so we can get our max enchant levels. And we've got enough for max enchants, which is exactly what we wanted. I'm going to put the extra books in there because they're going to be quite useful. And I'm going to hang the Bane of Arthropods sword just above the spawner here. Where is it? There it is. Excellent. So with that done, and of course with our church complete, we can finally move on to solving our fuel crisis. And for that, we need to rediscover the hole that we dug over there for a slime chunk originally. It didn't really pan out that way though, did it? So the hole should be around here somewhere. Let me have a look. Yep, it is exactly down there. So that's where we're going to be putting our kelp farm. But before we can do that, I need to get myself some more redstone because we've pretty much used it all up now. So for the first time in a long time, we're going on a mining trip. 30 minutes or so later, it was an averagely successful mining trip, but that should be enough redstone to do what we need to do, which is basically make a whole bunch of pistons. Although if I think about it, we can probably save on some pistons by using a few sticky pistons instead. So we're going to be kind of making this up as we go along. But one other thing that I know I need a lot of, and I don't really have any of, is lights that are preferably cube-shaped. So we need to go to the nether to get ourselves some glowstone or shroom lights. Either will do, as long as they're square. The ideal thing to use would probably actually be sea lanterns, but we don't have a guardian farm yet, and we're not even close to making one, so let's just make do with what we can get our hands on. I hate ghasts. There we go, that's what we're after. Can we get it safely, though? There's a lot of skellies about. We've got just over a stack of glowstone and we didn't die, so that's a plus. Let's see if we can get home alive as well. So in theory, I should now have everything I need in order to build this kelp farm. I just need to get down there safely. Or we could just try this, I suppose. Well, that didn't work. But the important thing is we didn't die either. So we're going to be making this up as we go along, but I've got an idea in my head which I'm hoping is going to work, but I'm used to building farms on bedrock, so this may not work at all. So I'm just going to quickly build up a little bit and I'll see if this is actually going to work or not. But my theory is if we use leaves, we can then use slime blocks and honey blocks and so on and save ourselves a whole bunch of pistons, but we'll see. So test number 1, will these pistons fire? They will. Excellent. And that should fire independently. Good, good, good. So that means we can actually save ourselves a whole bunch of redstone for the pistons. So my theory is if we plant the kelp here and we have it so that these will break it when it gets to a certain height, I might actually be able to step this back. So if we get in another row here and some more glowstone, let's just quickly get another row back here of the deep slates, and then more leaves. More slime and honey across there with leaves on the side so it doesn't get stuck. And just to keep it looking good, we'll replace a little bit of this as well. And my hope is that we should be able to get probably 4 or 5 rows in here, and then we can activate them all at the same time and so on. And in theory, this is going to work. I've got some water in. I don't see why it's not going to work. So for now, I'm just going to keep building up until I've got in as many as I can. And then we're going to put some kelp in it and hope for the best. But we're making good progress. So I've managed to get some kelp in there as well. We actually need to go outside and grab a little bit more just to fill up the farm, and I need more deep slate and things to make this look a little bit better at the top here. And then of course we need to figure out the collection system, and I would like to ideally cook it as well straight off the bat. Short while later, we've got things looking good in here. I have also opened up the roof just so I can actually work out where the building on top needs to go. However, we also need to sort out the redstone around the back here so that these actually fire. And I think I'm just going to use an etho hopper clock so that they fire every sort of X amount of interval. I have no idea what that's going to be yet, but that should do the job just fine. So let's get one of these set up down here. Well, it's not the tiniest redstone in the world, but it should do the job. So I've actually got a full amount of stuff in here at the moment. So 5 stacks of things. Let's quickly run around the front and make sure that they all actually fire. Okay, so not all of them fired. That one there did not. So let's go check that out and see what we've done wrong. There we go. It was just a slight miscalculation on my redstone numbers, but we're all good. So the harvesting is all working. We just need to sort out the collection system, and that should be fairly straightforward if we can just put some blocks in along here. So I've added in a collection channel at the back here. I've put all these slabs in and put some water on the top, and in theory, if we now remove these, that should actually push everything across and over. There we go. We can see it all flying right into the channel there, and that is of course flying out of a big fountain thing going on over there, but we will sort that out in just a moment with the building on top. But I think before we put the building in, I'm going to cover this whole thing with grass, and then we'll figure out exactly what it is we want to do here, because the only bit we need to really worry about is that bit there. We want to make sure that that's going into some kind of cooking system inside the building that doesn't exist yet, and the rest of this we can pretty much just hide. So that'll all grow over in short order, and besides the sound of constantly running water and this little bouncy thing over here, you wouldn't even know there was a whole farm down there. I guess now I need to come up with some kind of a building design for this area. Some good progress, and we've also got some uninvited guests. We'll go deal with those in just a little while. But what I would also like to do is sort out the landscaping around here, blend it in with everything else we've done today, and hopefully we can get this looking pretty good, pretty sharpish. A short while later and everything is looking so much better around here now. I've got some paths that link everything up to the church and of course to the bee farm and the rest of the base. The interior itself still needs a little bit of work, but I have managed to get the smoker in. This will cook up any kelp that comes from below. We can even have a little peek into the farm through this floor here. And this all gets collected in these chests, and if it's running for a long time we will end up with a lot of it. So I've just put in loads of chests. Maybe a few too many. I might be a little bit over ambitious here. I do intend on putting some custom trees around here at some point in future as well, but for now I've just planted a few azaleas just to break it up a little bit because, well, they look pretty cool anyway, let's be honest. And when we stand back and look at everything we've done today, I am potentially having second thoughts about the colorings on the church. It looks a little bit pale. It doesn't really have a lot of contrast. So if you've got any ideas on how we can improve that, I mean, do we just put a mangrove roof on it like everything else? I don't know. But if you do have ideas on how we can make that better, then please do let me know in the comments. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye now.